Some have said that this is about bringing Obamacare to Tennessee. It's not. Tennesseans are already paying increased taxes due to Obamacare. And there are 150,000 people today in this state receiving health care subsidies from Obamacare. And guess what? On average, those people are making up to 3 times more than the Tennesseans would be covered through Insure Tennessee. That's Obamacare, but that's not what we're talking about. This is a chance to make a real difference in health care. Finally, I know that many of you share my concern about our state becoming even more reliant on a federal government that is deeply in debt. I think all of you know my view on budgets. Next week, I'll be presenting to you my 5th budget as the governor of the state of Tennessee. And we have a track record of being able to make the hard decisions. In Tennessee, we have a record of fiscal responsibility that is second to none. And I would never do anything to endanger that financial strength that so many have worked so hard to build. On the federal government side, I would not do this if I didn't honestly believe that our efforts will ultimately have a real impact on controlling health care costs in our country. Our country is not going to fix the challenges around the debt or the deficit until we solve the health care cost crisis. We should all be upset that Congress and the President passed a plan that did not do that when they had the chance. But we do have the chance, and that's why I'm recommending this plan. You know, every year in February, the nation's governors assemble in Washington for the National Governors Association meeting. And by tradition, regardless of who the president is, Republican or Democrat, on Sunday night, the president asks all the governors and their spouses to the White House for a really nice formal dinner. And then Monday, the president asks everyone back, or asks the governors back, for a business meeting with the president, the vice president, cabinet, and all the governors from all the states. During that time, the way it works is for about 30 minutes, he asks the media to come in and he gives an address to the governors. And then after 30 minutes, he asks the media to leave, and then what ensues is a very candid, honest back and forth between the governors and the president. Every year since I've been going there, the Republican governors have used that chance to say, when it came to the question and answer session, to say, Mr. President, why don't you block grant Medicaid to us? And every year, the president's had a reason why he wouldn't do that. Until last year, when a Republican governor said, Mr. President, why don't you block grant Medicaid to us? I guess in a moment of true candor, he looked at the governor and said, because I don't trust you to take care of the least of these. Now, if you're a Republican, I'll give you a second to let your blood pressure go back down like it took mine. As things would so happen, I happened to be next. And so I said, Mr. President, with all due respect, I know a lot of these men and women. And I know that they ran, one of the reasons that they ran was like one of the reasons that I ran, is so that we can help take care of the least of these. I think it's one of our most solemn obligations in government. But Mr. President, we're also concerned about our children and grandchildren and the debt that we're passing on to them in a way that doesn't seem fair. Well, I've thought about that conversation a lot since then. And I've realized that it's not just the president that thinks that. As a Republican elected leader, I feel like we owe the country answers as to what we would do about health care. For too long, we've said what we don't like, mainly Obamacare. Well, this is a chance to show what we would do. We talk frequently about wishing Washington would just block grant Medicaid to us. I still wish that they would do that. And if they did do it, we would come up with a plan that looks a lot like this. Admittedly, it would go further and take more steps, but it would look a lot like this. I think this is also an issue about who we are as Tennesseans. My faith doesn't allow me to walk on the other side of the road and ignore a need that can be met, particularly in this case, when the need is Tennesseans who have life-threatening situations without access to medical care. Particularly when the need can be met, like this one can, without cost to our state, with money that our state is currently being taxed for, with a plan that can help answer one of our nation's biggest issues. I know and fully appreciate that for many, the easiest thing to do is to say, this is Obamacare and I want nothing to do with it. But I would ask all of you to look past the easy political argument and do what Tennesseans have always done. Come up with an answer, come up with a plan that addresses Tennesseans' needs and do it in a fiscally responsible way. Like you, I didn't come to state government just to make a point. I came to make a difference. We have a chance to make a difference that will improve the lives of hundreds of thousands of Tennesseans, and at the same time to begin attacking the out-of-control health care costs that have driven our state and our country for too long. 2 years ago, the General Assembly made 2 requests of us. First, they said, come back to us with a Tennessee-specific plan that meets our people's needs and does it in a way that doesn't hurt our state fiscally or hurt our nation fiscally. And the second thing you asked is, bring this back so that we have a chance to vote on it. We have done both of those things. I ask you to take this opportunity to dig into what is one of our nation's most critical issues and one of our state's most critical issues. It's not going away. We can't sit back and do nothing. I ask you to work with me on behalf of our citizens of all types to Insure Tennessee. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. I appreciate your service, and I stand ready at any time during the coming week to help you in any way or answer any questions that I can. Thank you again for serving our state.